Welcome back. In the Crossfire tonight, Representatives Loretta Sanchez and James Lankford. Watch Friday when the House votes on a bill by Fred Upton overruling one part of Obamacare and allowing people to keep insurance plans they like. If 20 Democrats break ranks and vote with Republicans, it doesn't mean anything. If 40 do, it's interesting. But if 80 vote with Upton, it's a stampede. Here's one example why it could be a stampede. Polls since the Obamacare rollout show North Carolina Democratic Senator Kay Hagan, who's up for re-election and vulnerable next year, losing ground dramatically. And so I think this is one of the things. Don't you have a sense that the pressure is growing to find some answer to this?
Well, again, I'll begin by saying that this website or whatever, there's no reason, if you know it's coming up in 3 years, to not have had that done correctly. I get angry when an Amazon website freezes up, when a airline website freezes up. I throw things at it if it's freezing, not coming through, if the DSL is too slow, whatever's going on. So people have a right to be angry, and we need to fix it. My question is, how fast is this fix coming? And will it be done right? And can I get onto it? Can I get what I need? That's what we want. So if you're, when you're saying, should we stop the mandate? Should we, as Upton wants? Depends whether we can get this up and running the right way. It really depends how soon we can get this done.
Let me just ask one thing, which is a scale of how bad the last 5 weeks have been, coming out of the glory days when the government shutdown put the Republicans in a hole. The latest poll that came out shows that the Democrats have lost 9 percentage points. They went from being ahead by 9 a month ago to being tied with the Republicans. Now, doesn't this indicate what some of the pressure is going to be on Friday for incumbents who are looking around saying, if this goes on for another month or two, and if you end up with a couple million Americans with no insurance in January, who had insurance in December, this is why I think Upton's bill has the potential to attract a lot of people. But what's your sense? I mean, would you vote against Upton?
I'm leaning to vote against it because I really do believe, and I've seen it in my district. I've worked so hard to get it right in my district, to tell people, to talk to them, to go door to door working. We've got extra funds from the California Endowment Fund to make sure that we get this out. And remember that in my district, 1 out of 3 people have no insurance. And most people don't realize that. You guys are guys. You don't realize that. Women over 50 in particular, but women, there's such a differential. For the same age of a man and a woman, to get insurance, a woman is 3 to 5 times higher premium, only because she's a woman. So there are great things, I believe, in the ACA that we need to do. Right. ACA levels off, no bias.
If you pass the Upton bill, if the House passes the Upton bill, which it's not clear there's going to be Democratic support, and it's also not clear that some conservatives are going to go along with this because they don't want fixes to the bill, they just want to overturn it. But on the specifics of the Upton bill, it allows insurance companies to keep offering some of the shell plans that they've been offering before Obamacare passed. And as Congresswoman Sanchez mentioned, it means women can get charged more. It means that your insurance plan can drop you when you get sick. It means it can discriminate against you for coverage based on a pre-existing condition. All of these things that have broken our system in the past. Those are the plans that you're going to allow insurance companies to go back to if Upton passes.
Sure,
so are you okay with that?
It's a fascinating way to be able to look at it. For 1,500 different small businesses in Oklahoma City, just in my area, that had a health care plan they liked and that their people were involved in, have all been sent a letter now saying the federal government doesn't approve of your health plan anymore. So this conversation about
they're also premiums are going to go up.
No, I don't think premiums are going to go up.
Premiums are going to go up.
That's
what's projected, up to 20%.
That's a fascinating. Wait, hold on. That's a fascinating spin to say, because I remember a president that used to say premiums are going to $2,500 on it. And I can point you to thousands of people.
As soon as the website starts working, people
I understand. No, here's the problem that we deal with. It's this issue of hopefully someday this is all going to work out, and then we'll get all this great new magical things, and all these prices will drop. But the problem is the reality of what we're dealing with right now. I can take you to thousands of people in my district that are contacting my office and saying, this is what my premium was. It's now 2 times higher, 3 times higher, whatever it may be. And they're
not getting subsidies, and they're not going into small business.
I'm quite aware, because
And
they
are you
they're
also
pushed out
counting
into a
all
policy
the
that didn't
people
want.
That's
in
because
your district that are
Oklahoma
getting a better
didn't put
deal?
an exchange
You know what?
in. I mean,
We are hearing
Oklahoma
from,
didn't put an
we are
exchange
hearing
in.
from
That's
people
one
on
of the
that, and some of those
problems.
people were in Insure Oklahoma, our state plan before, that are now being told that plan is being phased out. You have to switch over. And some of those individuals are coming to us saying, I like this. I had a subsidy from the state. The state was resolving this. I had a set of doctors. I don't know who my doctors are going to be now. I don't know what the plan's going to be. I don't know where I'm going to go for a hospital. And for people in rural districts especially, it's incredibly difficult for them because some of the locations they have to go now are 50, 60, 70 miles away. When they used to have access to the rural hospital, they're now being told, no, I'm sorry, you have to drive to the city for that. That's not right for the people in that. That's not good access.
Let me ask you a question. You're making a very interesting point. But if you think about it, I don't think it's the point you intended. You're saying, you know, California's okay because California has their own website. Now, Oklahoma made the mistake of relying on the federal government. No, wait a second.
That's not what I said.
The federal government website, from the time they passed the bill to today, is actually a month longer than the United States in World War II. So from Pearl Harbor to the defeat of Italy, Germany, and Japan, took us a month less than it has taken them to fail to put up a website. And I'm just talking about the average Americans. If I watched the government in the age of Amazon and Craigslist and eBay and all this stuff, if I watched the government that couldn't even put up a website, well, I'm not sure I want them to be in charge of my health.
What was the first thing I said? I agree with my colleague. This website is just unbelievable. And a lot of my colleagues on my side are saying that. But we have a date certain where we want people to be insured. We passed this law. I voted for this law because I want people to have insurance, and I want insurance that works. These other policies, these individual policies, several things happen with them. You have such a high deductible, they're catastrophic, you end up paying out of your own pocket, you don't have a capped amount for the annual, your pre-existing condition, you don't even get one of those. You're a woman over 50, believe me, they're not going to sell you one of those unless it's going to cost $1,500 or $1,600. And when you get sick, guess what happens with that policy? You come walking through my front door and you say, I got cancer, Congresswoman Sanchez, and now they tell me that they don't want to cover me. And I have to deal with the problem. I have to push that insurance company to say, what do you mean? Explain to me exactly where that wouldn't be in this policy. I have to push them. I have to push them. I have to push them. The kinds of policies we want are ones where people understand. They are standardized because people understand what they're going to get. There's not going to be this, I'm not going to cover you anymore. There's not going to be this, oh, you're a woman, forget it. You're a pre-existing condition because you could have babies. And if you can't have babies, well, you're hormonal. I mean,
actually, apparently I do support that because now as a man I have to have coverage that gives me maternity coverage as well to make that standard on it. So the challenge of this is that now just pushing you into a centralized plan on it that's determined by the federal government, and now with all the website rollout and all the problems, Americans are beginning to see when a central government is going to take care of all 300 million people and say, just come to us and we'll take care of this, we see the beginning phase of what healthcare will look like for decades now. It's not just the website. It's not going to be every decision that's made on healthcare in the days ahead will be this slow, this difficult, and everyone's yelling.
Let's get to do this after the break.
We can get it right if the states do it.
We're going to come back to this after the break. It's an excellent discussion, and believe me, I'd love to dive in. So stay here. We're going to find something, though, that we can all agree on, other than the website being broken. We also want you at home to weigh in on today's Fireback question. Do you think Congress can improve Obamacare? That's Congress can improve Obamacare. Tweet yes or no using #Crossfire. We'll have the results after the break.